Hello and welcome to the Greenway Outdoors Podcast, your source for outdoor news and entertainment. Hosted by Kyle Green, Jeff Hutchinson, Ryan Parks, and Aaron Beadle. Hello and welcome to episode 56 of the Greenway Outdoors Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Ryan.
And there's only two of us today.
Yep.
Jeff and AJ are in full quarantine, and we are in the social distancing version of quarantine.
Yeah, exactly. It's really madness what's going on right now.
Yeah, before anyone yells at us, we are easily 10 feet away, so don't worry. And we've been outside, and we've both been in quarantine, and we both know that we're healthy.
Yeah.
We decided to do this outside because we can't be in the studio or anything like that right now. Mm-hmm. We figured that this was the safest way to still reach people during these insane times. It's April 3rd today.
Yep.
I know that because my niece's birthday was yesterday, April 2nd. So unfortunately, she had a quarantine birthday.
Yeah.
That I have tons of presents for her. I'm so glad I bought the presents like a month ago, because if I would have waited,
Not infected. Yeah.
I haven't been able to take them over there. They live about an hour away, so I'll have to drop them off at the door. But happy birthday, Lily. Beyond that, I'm looking at everything that's going on right now, and I've learned that instead of watching the news and soaking that in all day long, I decided to start just watching the announcement from the president. And that brings up an important point to me, that I had a memory of, it was years ago now, but the very first time Barack Obama was made president of the United States, when he won the election. And I remember this because the build-up to it, I was really young, so the build-up to it, you know, as young, you see your parents like very adamant about one side of the coin, right?
Yeah.
And it should be no secret that my dad was not for Obama.
Yeah.
So we voted for the other guy. And as a kid, I was like really into it because that's who my dad was voting for. And you'd go to school and, you know, everyone would talk about what their parents were doing and why. And it's funny because as a kid, you like don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
You're just like
you're not a free thinker yet. You haven't decided for yourself yet because you've been shoved down a path thus far in your life.
But something that was really interesting about this, before you turn it off, all of the liberal people that watch our show, before you turn it off, hear me out. My dad, I'll never forget this, was really concerned about the election, really concerned about it. Bush just got out, and then we were worried about the Republicans not winning. And I remember how emotionally invested he was in the election, talked about it every night and stuff like that. And I'll never forget that when it was decided that Obama won on TV, like they declared it to him and the other guy conceded, I'll never forget this. My dad turned off the TV and he said, well, now I would take a bullet for him. And I'll never forget that. And I still like, it like triggers like goosebumps almost, because this is the guy that my dad did not want to win.
Yeah.
He was very against Obama. Obama wins, and now my dad said, I'd take a bullet for him. And unfortunately, you know, it's so easy for each side to be like, oh, everyone's attacking Trump right now. There's no question. I mean, not everybody, I should say, about half the people, but people are, the news, everybody's just attacking Trump right, left, and indifferent, especially during these trying times. And I would say that I think everybody could use the lesson that my dad taught me, because that really stuck with me. Because I would always say, I disagree with Obama on this or whatever it might be, but I would take a bullet for him. And I carried that lesson with me from that day on. And it's easy to say it when your guy's in the office and be like, everyone should support him. But my dad did it when his guy wasn't in the office.
Yeah.
And now we're at these trying times. Everything's so difficult. There's so much negativity. There's so much anger. And I watched the White House briefings. I learned from the task force and everything that's going on. And I was listening to everything that was being said. And then I would go over and listen to the news. And I would be like, the way they would take little pieces and twist it. I was like, no, I heard what he said. That's not what he said.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You're twisting it.
Yeah.
There was the thing, there's a couple different, I mean, there's a million instances of it, I guess, but a couple that really stand out to me where, you know, the whole Easter thing, where he said it would be really wonderful if we could get open by Easter again, because the day of Easter is so important. And it would be a beautiful thing to get the businesses up and going. And I don't know that we can do it, but man, would that be a worthy goal. And they turned it into, we're opening by Easter and that's it. And how bad he was and how he wasn't taking advice from his people and everything like that. And the head doctor guy, I forgot his name right now.
Dr. Fauci.
Thank you. Dr. Fauci was like, whoa. he listens to us. He's just saying it would be nice if, and they try to turn the two against each other. This is not a political rant. This is an American rant where I really think, and it's easy for me to say it, and it's easy for people that are happy with who's in office to say it, but a lesson from my dad would be that as the president of the United States, you don't have to agree with his policies, but you shouldn't be wishing harm on him. You should be willing to take a bullet for him, and you should be supporting him, because we're all on this ship together. And if it sinks,
exactly.
You know,
it doesn't matter what president would be in this position. I think that how well can you handle something like this? And I think he's doing a good job. And I feel like any president, being the president, they care. They obviously care, whether you like them or not.
Right.
They care. He definitely cares, and he's doing the best he can. And I think he's doing a good job. I don't particularly enjoy our governor that much, but I think she's doing a good job. I think there's a lot of politics in the politics and quarrels, but I think everyone's doing the best they can to try to keep people safe. The issue is the individuals, like people just going to the gas station, talking to other people, shaking hands. Like, that's ridiculous. If you want to stay locked up forever, keep doing that, or dead.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But I don't think it's a time to necessarily start attacking, and it's a time to team up and work together on something.
Right. I've got a friend that's a really close friend that kind of runs the whole, he runs the whole ER from the nursing side. So he's the head nurse, I guess you would say. I don't know what the title is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But all the ER nurses report to him. And the information that I got directly from him was, he's like, listen, we were testing everybody for a long time, and everybody we tested pretty much had it. A giant majority of people had it, but most people had moderate to no symptoms, and the people that did have it were getting put into the hospital. And then out of those, like really bad, the people that had really bad effects and the, trouble breathing and stuff, like, they were put in the hospital. And now they've gotten to the point where they kind of, if they talk to you and you're having the issue, they're not testing everyone anymore. I know a lot of people are saying that everybody's getting tested, but according to this, it's just not real. It's not actually happening, because it's like impossible to test all those people. So in turn, a lot of people that have the virus with moderate to no symptoms are not getting tested for the most part. I mean, there's the drive-up stations and stuff like that, but at the hospital systems, they're actually not. It's at all the other different places they are. So they're being sent away and given instructions on what to do, and then should things progress and get worse, then you have to come back, and then this is what the process will be. So because of that, he said a lot of the people that have it, we don't know the people that have it and have no symptoms. There's no way to know, that aren't tested. And the people that have moderate to low symptoms, they're probably not being tested. It's the people that are being tested are the people that are being brought into the hospital.
Right.
And,
they need to be there.
So when they talk about the percentages of the people that are dying from it, those percentages are a little bit wrong, because they're based on the people that are admitted or got tested.
Right.
Whereas a majority of the people with low to moderate symptoms aren't actually being tested. They said 1 million people have been tested in the United States a couple days ago. That's really not that much when you really think about it. So I'm not diminishing, the effects of it, but I'm very hopeful that with these precautions that are in place, and the lockdowns that are happening, and the quarantines that are happening, and all the things that are happening are hopefully going to keep this, and with our leadership that we should all be praying for, not bashing, that we can kind of get on the other side of this and it won't be as bad as everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to handle. No one in our lifetime has been through something like this. What's the last bad thing like this that's happened?
Yeah.
Was it Spanish flu in the early 1900s?
Right, but a question that I got from actually a viewer as well was, they're like, they sent me this video, and they're like, hey, and this is one of the things that are going around, look at this video from Korea from 2 years ago. And the video, it was these people that, it said that the coronavirus killed all these people. And they're like, they knew about it, da-da-da. I'm like, well, coronavirus is a very common thing. So we call it Corona-19. I believe that's because it came out in 2019. But the common cold is actually a form of coronavirus.
Okay.
All these other big disease, SARS, those are all forms of coronavirus. So yeah, coronavirus has been around a long time, and now we definitely are talking about it and care about it, but this is not the first taste of coronavirus. So that was something I just wanted to debunk, was if you see things like, oh, coronavirus, they're saying, they knew about this years ago. Well, Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But obviously, COVID-19 is something new. But it is interesting to see our whole world shut down over something, though.
Yeah.
It's when you say, like, have we ever seen anything like it? We kind of have, like the swine flu and things like that, but we haven't seen a reaction like this before.
The reaction is probably like this because of how global it is. I mean, Italy was the first one to really, really get it bad.
Right.
And having that many people go into the hospital all at once.
Right.
And doctors are choosing who lives based on age, who lives and dies. That's insane.
That's
insane.
Something out of one of those terrible movies.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say the global effect. Now, I've got people, we're supposed to go to Africa in September.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be there for like 25 days. And I was talking to the guy we're working with there, and he's in South Africa. And he's like, everything's on lockdown here, but not a lot of people have it. He said, what we're really scared of is that the African population, because you wouldn't say, I wanted to say African American, but you would just say African.
Africans, yeah, just
the population there, people with black skin, are the concern, because the medicine there is so terrible that if it gets there and gets spread through there, he goes, I have no idea what it will be like, but it will decimate people, and there will be no way to fix it. He said, understand something. He goes, we're in a rich area right now. If I want to see a dentist for something, I will have to make an appointment for 3 weeks from now, and he will have to come up to my village to do it. And then that's the process. So imagine Corona under those sorts of medical conditions.
No.
And that's something that, he's praying that it doesn't get to the, especially third world countries all over the world, and hurt them while we're complaining about ventilators and stuff. Big problem here. I hope that we can get ourselves corrected and right, but I sense that from a world pandemic level, what will happen in third world countries will be far worse than what happened here, and that terrifies me.
Yeah.
For what's going on.
Let's just hope that never happens. I mean,
yeah.
Like, stay in your homes, but also, like, I saw the meme, like, has anyone told the Amish people about what's going on?
I like that a lot.
Like, what about them? Do they have any idea what's happening?
Someone had to tell them. I mean, they don't have TV, but they're...
Well, I mean, just in third world countries, all those people, like, I mean, how much contact do they have?
Yeah.
Like, it just takes one person to roll through there,
well,
and they can wipe out a village.
Well, and that's I mean, think about the Native Americans in America.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah.
The white guys come and pass all these different diseases around and kill everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chief Billy of the Wyandotte Nation shared a post, and it said, this is really bad, but Chief Billy laughed, so I'm allowed to laugh, and it said, the coronavirus is so serious that even Indian people are telling you to listen to the government.
Yeah.
And Chief Billy of the Wyandotte Nation shared that, so I know that it's okay for me to say.
And we're good buddies with him, so.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty.
That was funny.
Yeah. And then I also talked to our guy in Argentina, because we're supposed to be in Argentina right now.
Yeah, I know, that stinks.
We'd be there right now, hunting red stag.
That really stinks.
And we're not, and that makes me sad. But I talked to him, and he said, Kyle, nobody has it here. Everybody's kind of on lockdown now, but my hunting areas aren't. But no one really has it, but things are still being locked down and stuff, and they're still talking about it, but he doesn't even know of anybody that knew of anybody that had it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a big deal in Argentina right now.
Yeah, I mean, here everybody knows somebody who has it,
It
or
sure seems
knows
that way.
somebody.
Yeah, and again, we're not making light of the situation or telling you who we agree with or who we don't or what to do, but just to, we had the day of prayer, which I thought was fantastic, but praying and focusing on God in times like this, and getting to spend time with your family, I think is really important too. I'm kind of bummed. I live an hour from my family, and now they're not in my quarantine household, so I can't go over there. And that makes me, but we've been FaceTiming and stuff, and not seeing Lily on her birthday and stuff like that is trouble. But if you are at home, as I know you are with your family right now, look at this like an opportunity to spend time with them.
I know, it's like a vacation, but not.
It's like a sad vacation.
It's a very sad vacation.
It's funny, my dad is like going nuts because
oh, I'm sure
he's like taking care of, with the way the unemployment is going to work and the money that's being given to people and all the different packages that are being sent out right now. But he can't stand not working.
Yeah.
Like it's driving him bonkers.
It's in his blood to do that.
Yeah. Is your dad too? I feel like your
Yeah,
dad's
I mean, he's definitely, both my parents are getting really, like, they're like children right now. Seriously. Like, I'll be wanting to sleep in a little bit, but they're bored and they're not at work, so they come and annoy me. And it's like taking care of little kids, because you got to find something for them to do to keep their minds busy. But it's just funny how it's all panning out and how our world was turned upside down so quickly. And it kind of made me realize how fragile everything is.
You
like,
betcha.
We think, well, like, as someone who can, like, we can kind of, in a way, I think we could survive off the land. If things got worse, I wouldn't, like, be scared to go move out and survive off the land. Like, I'd be okay with that. But there's millions of people who could never do that.
And they're learning right now the importance of where their food comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Motor Trend's back-to-back Truck of the Year. And by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. It's funny you say that, though, because the importance of knowing where your food comes from has never been more evident to people. And there's a lot of people posting, memes and stuff in the hunting and fishing community, like, told ya, like,
yeah.
We know where our food comes from. And I never really get on the bandwagon of kind of punching people in the face with it too much, but there's a bit of comedy to it, but it's also very real. When you talk about how fragile everything is, right?
Yeah.
So right now we're looking at a disease that is spread like it has and what it's done to shutting things down. It is not far-fetched to think that something more powerful than this, because any way you cut it, the actual effects on most people it's not going to kill them, most people.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when a disease does kill most people and they do have to be separated, and going to the store isn't an option?
Mm-hmm.
And being prepared. Ted Nugent actually did a thing with his wife I thought was awesome, Shemaine. They were doing a live about how prepared they are, with food and backups and things like that. And, you think about having reserve food, you can buy those disaster things like that are good for 30 years or whatever, like the ones you just add water to and stuff. And
like
you can
MRE.
you can have like pot pie and like all these different meals for, life.
I thought about getting some, actually. I was looking at pricing.
I wonder how much it skyrocketed.
I don't think the price changed that much, because a lot of that stuff, like the good ones, are like military.
Yeah.
The ones that they just don't have anymore, so you can buy like the overstock of it.
Uh-huh.
So, in like a 12 pack, which is like 12 meals, packed full of calories, but it's like $120.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Not cheap.
No.
But I mean, if you needed it, you'd be good for a while.
Right. Yeah, I think like they make like bins of stuff that you can get like 300 meals for, and then becomes more budget friendly. But being prepared with that stuff is good. Having water on your property is pretty important.
Yep.
If you have a well, or you can have a piece of property that has a well, and you start to realize quick that a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about, you can't get in the city.
Yeah, no
You know what I
way.
mean? You're not going to have a well in your city and the water and everything like that.
Yeah.
So having a water source on your property, having the reserved meals, but having the know-how to hunt and fish and harvest your own meat and protein is incredibly important.
Very.
It's interesting, though, when you see, I've had people write into us, I've had people joke around with us about, hey, you got any of that extra venison now? And things of that nature. But the good thing about this is it is planting a seed with people that things can happen.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you need to know where you're going after you die. And it's important to be right on the right side of God with that. But before that, it's important to be prepared for anything. And to live in a country where you can have guns, where you can have ammunition, where you can protect yourself and your family, where you can harvest your own food with those guns and ammunition, where you can take care of the people you care about, defend yourself, because to live in this numbskull mindset of that the government is always going to be there to take care of you no matter what, and that you should hand over all your guns to let them take care of you and focus on them and just let them, the government has me, is I hope proven to be very dumb.
Exactly.
In this entire thing, because you have people that are working really hard to help you right now. $6 trillion stimulus, never been done before. And that's just around whatever, I think they're in round 3 or whatever now. Who knows what it'll go to. As of April 3rd, as we sit here, that's what the stimulus is. But it's like they're going into massive debt, taking massive amounts of money out to try and help people. And people are still, if this goes on for another 12 weeks, 18 weeks, things like that, the government can only do so much.
Yeah.
Imagine a disease that wiped out more people. Imagine any other pandemic or things that could happen. Being prepared and living in a country where there's true freedom so you can be prepared, and that you can harvest your own beautiful organic meat out in the woods, and that you can, plant things and know how to take care of your lands to be able to harvest things. Like we were talking about going morel mushroom picking here in a month or two.
Yeah.
It's all very important. And
Yeah.
I think that people have forgot that for a long time, and they live in this bubble, and the bubble has been popped.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's like, before we went on quarantine, had to stay away from everybody, and things were slowly getting worse and worse. I was over at a friend's house, and the parents know what I do, and they said their interest hasn't peaked necessarily in what I do. Like, it's not really their thing, hunting and fishing, but we were talking about coronavirus, and they brought up the point, can we come, we'll come stay with you when this all goes to crap. Like, when everything gets really bad and there's no more food in the grocery store, you know what you're doing, you know how to get food and survive. And it was interesting to see that, because like I've tried to initiate some sort of conversation before like that, not necessarily survival, but just like hunting and fishing in general and about the show. And you could tell that it was just kind of like, nah, not their thing. But now all of a sudden it's like, now you care. Now you care because you've realized how fragile everything is, and that this can break at any moment.
Any moment.
And like, I wasn't necessarily worried the most about Corona killing people, which obviously that's terrible.
Right.
But what I was more worried about is
the people reaction.
The panic. And we saw it there for like about a week, where people were like fighting in the stores over toilet paper. Like, that was like last on my list of things that I cared about. I was worried about, okay, if things do get really bad, where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen now? Are we sleeping on the ground in the woods? Are we going to have a plot of land we can go to? And we talked about it. Like, it would be nice to have a piece of property that's just built out to be a fortress.
Right.
That you can just escape to, and it's got ammo, it's got guns, it's got food, but it's a fortress, and it can go on the lockdown immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it really got me. I've always kind of thought like that, but this happening really makes you start to take it a lot more serious.
Right. The preppers have never had more...
I know. They're eating it up.
Yeah, because they get so much crap normally.
Yeah.
And now they're like, what?
Yeah, who's right now?
And like I said, I'm not a doomsday prepper, but, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And as I grew up in a traditional household. So my dad worked. My mom was a stay-at-home mom,
Mm-hmm.
and then she works now as we've grown up and got out of the house and stuff. But and there's nothing against women that work or anything like that.
No.
But I grew up in a traditional household where my mom was always there, and we sat down to dinner every night at 6 o'clock. And my dad was like the ultimate man. You know what I mean? He worked 60 hours a week. Was at church every single Sunday, is very involved in the church, in the choir and the elder groups and all those different things. And, being able to have that as an example is what helped shape me. A lot of people don't have that nowadays. But my point is, I was taught, rules and responsibility, discipline, and taking care of yourself and taking care of others. And my dad, I never worried as a kid of was my dad going to take care of us if something happened? I was always like, well, I'm good. Everyone else is in trouble, but my dad will, and you think your dad's invincible as a kid, but he kind of is still even today. It's just the way he is. But that example for me led me to, you got to be able to take care of you and take care of others and take care of yourself. And through discipline and preparedness and having the right tools and the right stuff. And I think now that the world just got a big wake-up call on that. Like I said, the bubbles popped. All of a sudden, what happens if Meijer's closed? What happens if Burger King's closed? What happens if these are closed? What are you going to do?
Right.
I know what I'm going to do. I have a game plan.
Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And that's that. So I want to spin off of this and get onto a little bit of a happier thought is, what about what people can do right now out in the woods that they can still social distance like we are? And you are a little downwind from me. I'm just kidding. But we can social distance and still get outside. In Michigan, we have something called the Tippy Dam, which is part of the river system. There's a big run of steelhead that go through there, It's awesome fishing, but they closed it. And the reason why they closed it is because right there, the fish all pile up. So fishermen are shoulder to shoulder all along the shore, not practicing social distancing because of it. So they closed it down. Now the only people that can really get there are by boat, but they've also closed a lot of boat launches if people aren't abiding by the social distancing rules. So what you need to know to go fishing. In Michigan and probably most other states, they're saying that you are not to go with people from outside your household. Okay, that's one. Number two, when you drive there, you're supposed to crack the windows and you drive straight there and straight home from the boat launch there. Then when you go in the boat, you still practice social distancing in the boat once you're in there. Keep your 6 feet away from each other. And then obviously be washing and using hand sanitizer as you go throughout the day and so on and so forth. And that's the way that you can still fish for the boat launches that are still open right now. The walleye are starting to get into the Detroit River. Like I said, the steelhead run is on. Yeah. So it's just being pretty smart, just practical.
I mean,
that's a way to still be able to fish at least.
Yeah. No, I went the other day and I just hiked back to a lake, and I mean, it was awesome. Like I've been locked up I love my family, but spending so much time with anybody gets tiring. So I just kind of ditched and got my fishing pole and hiked back in the woods and to a lake and sat there on the bank and fished for a while. I didn't catch anything, but it was still great.
You didn't catch anything?
No.
What were you running?
I was testing out a spot. Had a O-ring around a long rubber worm.
Okay.
And just kind of jig it a little bit.
It was a smart bait. In the cool temps right now, the fish seem to be hitting on slow-moving baits.
Yeah.
And then when you study a lake and you watch the way the sun moves, this is interesting. I forgot what corner it is of the lake. It's always the same corner. But you look for the spot that the sun on the lake, as it goes throughout the day, will hit the lake the most. So that spot on the lake receives the most sun throughout the day because that would be the warmest spot in the lake. And I'll never forget, I studied that one time, and I studied the lake and I looked at it and I saw the pace of the sun and how it would go over the lake. And I saw where the sun would be on the lake the most. I had never caught fish in this lake, but I wanted to test it. I went to the spot up shallow that had the sun the most of the day. Every cast I was pulling in big bluegills because they were all in there because that's where they go to warm up as the sun. That's the first spot of the year, and this is after first ice that you hit that. Is the warmest spot on the lake is the spot that receives the most sun. So look at a map, look at the way the sun moves, and look at the corner that will be hit the most by that. Go there and test it out. And using slow-moving baits is a great idea. So the rubber worm is probably smart. Bass stopper, I assume, that we use. And we do the same thing for largies, and that's a good thing. Probably just no fish in that lake. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. I mean, we went from not catching anything to switching to that spot and hammered them.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing, too, I think that lake is, I wish I knew more about that lake, but it's pretty shallow. So I don't think there's been much action as far, like, not bugs on the banks or anything, like nothing to bring them in farther.
Right.
So, I mean, and there's no little minnows swimming around either. So if I had a boat, awesome. I could have gotten into some deeper water and found a drop off, but wherever I walked, I just could not find a good spot.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it, but and they're just not lively yet.
But how much fun did you have getting outside anyway?
No, it was awesome. And it was a great day. It was like today. It was nice and it was like a perfect temperature. I think it was about like 57 degrees.
Yeah.
And when you're hiking, that's a good temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and it felt good to get some fresh air and to not be around anyone. Like even though we're not around anyone, you're still around people in your house. And to just get some solitude and fresh air just feels so good.
I'm tired of TV.
Oh, I know. I mean?
Except the Greenway Outdoors.
Yeah. And social media too. I mean, like sometimes I'm so thankful for it because I'm just like bored.
Yeah.
And then other times it's like, okay, I'm tired of this. There's all these challenges people are putting, like this challenge, that challenge. I'm like, this is stupid. I am tired of this.
The only thing I'm not tired of is TikTok. I'm addicted. I love it.
The content, the amount of bored people putting out content is great.
It is the funniest stuff. And right now is like the ultimate, like so many funny TikToks.
No one else, they don't have anything to do.
Yeah, check us out on TikTok, the Greenway Outdoors, and right now we'll show you some of our favorite ones that we created.
Yeah.
This next part's my favorite part, cause this time to shine. Gonna do the two-step and cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left. Yeah.
You know what Franklin's favorite meal is? Toes.
Hey, get out of here.
He mad.
He is mad.
He's ready for the toes.
Don't bring him by me again.
Did I really just forget that melody? When I popped off, then you go gave me just a little bit of la chop, baby, so cold.
Lisa, come up here and try this raccoon right now. Get up here. Come on. Raccoon. Trash panda.
It's actually not bad.
I told you. It's good. Alex. Alex. Come on. We made raccoon fajitas for you. This was your special order.
Oh, this is so gross.
What do you think?
It's so good.
Do you really like it?
Yeah, it's so
Not
good.
bad.
See? Don't you think you should go out and hunt raccoons now and eat more of them, Alex?
Totally. You should find the recipe at greenwoodoutdoors.com.
It's like the drunk way of saying it, but I appreciate it. Perfect. Greenway Outdoors, raccoon fajitas coming.
Stay
Season
green.
4. Stay green.
All these horses in my car got me going fast. I just wanna do the dash, put my pedal to the gas. Going so fast, hope I don't crash. One false move, that could be my last. All these
Guess who's back?
I actually didn't think Jeff's TikTok was that funny. I think the one in Hawaii was the best one. Where
Absolutely.
Okay, so some of the other things people can do. Right now, it's April, and it's a little early here in Michigan, but morel mushrooms around the country are going to be popping up pretty soon.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have never morel hunted, I guess you'd say,
Yeah.
mushroom hunting, I think it's hunting. It wouldn't be fishing, so it's probably hunting.
You can try with a fishing pole, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Morel hunting. Look it up. Look up some different areas where it might be good. We happen to have an old apple orchard that we're able to morel mushroom hunt on,
Yeah.
and we kill it there.
It's great. It's
But
really good.
I know that you can find them on the side of old trees, dead, down trees. What are the trees that are really good for it?
Actually, when you're driving down the highway, which you gotta find a good place to park, probably not on the highway, but look for dead elms. They love dead elms.
Okay.
And so you can find some decent sized ones. But make sure you're getting the right mushroom, because there are mushrooms that look very similar to morels, but if you eat them, you will mess yourself up.
They told me my dad taught me the skirt trick, where if you can, the morel mushroom and then the imposter that looks very similar,
Yep.
if you can bend it over and look up the skirt, it's no good. Stay away from
Yeah.
it. He said that's an analogy for life, actually. And then, and then the other mushrooms, the actual morels, you won't be able to see up the skirt itself.
Yeah.
But do your research on morel mushrooms, dead elms. You heard it here first. And apple tree farms, if you can get access,
Yeah.
are really, really good. And that's a great way to get out in the woods. Check yourself for ticks.
Yeah.
It'll
be tick
it's
season
just
soon.
about tick season here.
Yeah.
So they'll be good. I don't know. We had a real mild winter.
Very.
So I'm thinking they're going to be bad this year. But, you know, who
Yeah,
really
I
knows
mean,
on that?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it depends on rain.
I really hate ticks. I really do. I don't like ticks. It sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think disgustingly enough, I've had so many that
you're
it
just
almost
over it.
doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Oh, I remember this one time Scott and I went trout fishing. And we went back in this one spot. And we got in the car. He goes, you know, we should probably check ourselves for ticks. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I looked down. I had 3 just on my shirt right here. I was like, that's That's no good. That's no good.
The worst is after like a day of like in the fall we go woodcock hunting and you come back to camp and you're sleeping in your tent, just minding your own business, and you feel one like crawling up the back of your neck, just tickling away at your hair as you pull it off. Ugh.
So watch for ticks, but look for morel mushrooms. That's
Yeah.
another good outdoor activity. I'd say also going on a hike, check your local government sites to see where state land is and if it's still available. An app that I'm absolutely in love with. I use it all the time. It is so awesome, and this is not a paid plug or anything like that, but Onyx.
Yeah.
Look up Onyx apps. Onyx Hunt, the app on your phone. They've got it for Apple and Android phones. It is so incredible. Basically what the app does is you go there and you can see all the different properties that are state land, that are federal land, that are private. If it is private, this is nice during hunting season. Should you shoot a deer and it goes on a private land here in the Midwest, it shows the landowner, so you can actually go and get permission to be able to hunt it. But you can see where those boundaries are, see where everything is, see where the state land is. Check the websites right now. They are closing down some lands in some different areas. Some public parks and stuff like that have been closed down. So just make sure it's open. But check that out. Go for a hike. Go for a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
But turkey hunting's coming up.
Yeah.
And that's the key one. That's what I'm here to talk about is turkey hunting. So I'm so excited about the season. But be smart. This isn't the season where you're going to be taking a lot of new people out with you that don't live in your house. Yeah. Luckily, in Michigan, they really relaxed the new hunting regulations for turkey hunting with the way the seasons and the dates work.
Okay.
And this year, it'll be spread out a lot more, whereas before you'd have to have like a specific week sometimes. It's really opened up, so there's a lot more options on dates to be able to hunt.
Was this was previous to everything that's going on now?
Yeah, that was already set up. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This was going to be the case before Rona.
Okay.
I call it Rona.
Rona
for short.
season.
Yeah, before Rona season, there was turkey season plans. So they've really relaxed them in Michigan, and it made it so you can hunt more days. But just be careful. If you're going to be sitting in a blind with people, make sure it's people that live in your household. Other than that, it is important that you still separate. But getting out in the woods, the turkey woods, oh man, if you want a refresher on life and the crisp, clean air, that's where you go, is turkey hunting.
And I'm excited because a few of the times that we've gone, it has been cold, and that is not fun to sit there in one spot just freezing your butt off.
Right.
And thankfully, it's been a little bit warmer. So hopefully if we go sit in a blind, wherever we might end up, or if we're allowed to, it won't be so cold.
The season goes well into May, so my hope is that by April 30th, when things open back up,
we can wear
there'll still be some social distance shorts. There'll still be some social distancing stuff going on, but into May, hopefully we can do it safely as a group. If not, I know I'm still gonna be out there. It was really funny too. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was like, "Well, we can't get poultry or anything from the store. Like it'd be cool to get like a turkey or something like that." And be like, "Well, it's almost turkey season." She's like, I know you shoot turkeys, and I know that's really cool, but I never put two and two together that you would go out, shoot a turkey, bring it home, and we'd just be able to eat it. So now we have
a turkey.
Because we have a turkey that way. I was like, yeah, that's what it is.
That's
hunting.
That's what they do at farms, except they don't hunt them. They just breed them and kill them.
Yeah, and that's what they're there for.
And inject them full of poison to make them bigger.
Some of them, yeah, unfortunately. But that is the truth. You can get some good meat turkeys from people that do it right.
And that's not everybody. But and I think that thankfully a lot of that is changing, where people are thinking more clearly about what they're putting in their bodies. But I mean, it kind of stinks that this is happening, because for us, we want to get younger kids and everything involved, and a lot of times we'll take kids on hunts and Times Up Outdoors. They're good at it too.
Right.
So I mean, obviously we don't want to take a whole bunch of kids out and infect them all, or they infect us, who knows.
Let's face it, they're going to infect us.
Grubby little kids. No, but it does stink. I mean, because it's fun. It's fun to take a kid out and let them get that experience. Cause
hopefully you've got a kid in your household that you can take out still.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool to see just the pure joy on their face when they've worked hard for something and finally they succeed.
Right.
Of all people, I think they appreciate it the most.
The kids, oh yeah.
It's very pure.
Going hunting as a kid, like looking forward to it, was so ridiculous. I can't even imagine. Like, I remember thinking about going rabbit hunting for the first time. I didn't sleep for 2 days. I mean, I'm a little high-strung as it is.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop. I was so excited about it. So excited about it, you know? But that's me, and I think that's a lot of kids too, so hopefully that'll still be something they can do.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about one last thing, and I've got a Bible app that I downloaded, and I don't even know the name of it, but it's I'm able to read the Bible just fully in this application. I started at Matthew, and I've been reading a few chapters, and I've grown up reading the Bible and everything like that, but I thought it'd be cool to just do it on the app, and it makes it so you can make notes on it and stuff like that. So I'm reading the Bible, and I started at Matthew, and I'm on Matthew chapter 9 this morning. So I'm reading like a whole chapter, all the verses in a chapter every morning, and then praying after that. And I was really excited because when I read Matthew chapter 9, and for those of you who haven't, just look it up. Matthew chapter 9, read the whole thing. It tells the story of when Jesus was here, and he's really starting to do miracles, and he's starting to help a lot of people. And a couple of the little pieces in there, and I'm not going to use names and stuff because I won't remember everything, but just the basis of the story was Jesus was walking down the street, and a lady who had a blood disease came up behind him, and she had so much faith inside her in Jesus that she grabbed the robe. And when she did, she grabbed his robe, thinking that it would cleanse her and heal her. And Jesus, of course, can know what she's thinking, and felt her grab the robe and turned around. And he was so impressed with her faith that she was healed immediately. But because she had so much faith in that, there was blind people, 2 blind guys that came up. Jesus touched their eyes, and he said, "Let your faith basically be what your new result is." Is the way that he kind of put it. I don't remember the exact wording. You don't need to know, but he touched their eyes and said, "Whatever your faith is, let that be the result." And they were both healed because they had so much faith in him. And it got me thinking about what faith is. So faith is something that you yourself only really know inside you, right? It's a thought.
Right.
It's a thought. So imagine the fact that this person was blind and now they see, or imagine the fact of you having eternal life or not. All comes down to a belief that you either believe in God or you don't, and that dictates whether you're going to heaven or not.
Yeah.
And that's how eternal life is made. If you believe Jesus died on the cross for your sins, you're going to heaven, period. Any way you cut it. Well, imagine that your thoughts are so important that what she was thinking healed her, and what they were thinking would heal him. And there was other people there that while Jesus was going to heal a guy, and he had palsy. So Jesus heals him, but while he was about to do it, everyone in the room was thinking, this guy's, they used to say blasphemy, which is not a word that we throw around nowadays, but they're like, this guy's a fake, he's a fraud, he's a phony, this isn't real.
Yeah. And
he stopped and turned, and he said, would it be easier for me to say your sins are forgiven, or would it be easier for me to just say you're healed? And he's like, why are you thinking these things? And he, obviously did it. And imagine that by not having faith in him and going against him, it would almost, I wouldn't say hurt his feelings, but it's like, he made us, so he's connected to us.
Right.
So to see that he's like, why are you thinking these things? He knows your thoughts. And thoughts really do become things. So in all of this, and the pandemic that's going on, how does this all relate for me? I'm looking at it, and there are some people, like you look at like Granger Smith, who's posting different videos every day and stuff like that, inspiring people and still focusing on the positive.
Yeah.
And then you've got people who are literally shaken to their core, where they can't go out, they can't do anything. They're so scared that they're crippled.
Yeah.
They're not having fun right now. They're not getting to know their families. They're not going on hikes to go fishing. They're not making the best of the situation. They're crippled by their own thoughts.
Yes.
And Jesus taught us through all this that your thoughts matter a lot. You become your thoughts. And guarding your mind and protecting your thoughts is so important.
Right.
And that's easily forgotten. Beyond that, your thoughts are your key to eternal life.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's interesting that there's this theory going around that I don't necessarily believe it, that had Corona been man-made, it was due to the idea that the government was trying to help people in the sense that whenever you got on social media, it was like, oh, Monday, gotta go back to work, or like, oh, I hate this, I hate that. Everyone was like stuck in this like funk and wasn't happy with where they were, and then this all happened, and now everyone's like, oh, I want to go back to work, I'm happy. Or
it's like a refresher.
It's like a reset button, which I don't think that the government did this. I don't think any of that.
It was all planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see people's mindset change, and I think obviously some people are crippled and can't do anything, but there's
Right.
a lot of people out there who are like refreshed and happier and in some way because they see what's important.
They're going to appreciate what they don't have
Yes.
right now.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
They don't realize how awesome it was to be able to stop at Starbucks on the way to work and then go to work and interact with people and have that human contact. And, you know, I'm grateful. You know, I hunt and fish with my best friends and travel and make
Yeah.
TV shows for a living. But I designed that. That wasn't by accident. That was a thought
Yeah.
that I acted on.
Yeah.
And that's why that is the result. And it's the same for any business or any position that anybody's in right now. Another point to the story was that in Matthew chapter 9, it talks about Jesus's emotion, his compassion, and how moved he was, and why he wanted to help so many people. And you know, when you're driving down the side of the road and you see somebody begging, or you see somebody that's sick on the news, or you know, or you watch the things that are going on right now, and you feel that compassion for people. I think that thought and that feeling of compassion is important because he felt that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, it's not saying you're on his level by any stretch,
No.
but you're gaining a closeness to God through things that are good.
Yes.
And it's, you know, it says that all good things, you know, work together for good.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, like, I mean, that's part of reading the Bible. It's God giving His word to you and helping you to be able to recognize things like that when you are put in those life situations, that this is like, that you could either act poorly or positively to that poor guy on the side of the road, and you could kick dirt in his face, or you can say hello to him if you don't have money to get, whatever the situation is.
Right.
That's the point of the Bible, is to help lead you through these situations. And God
Right.
never promised anyone it was going to be easy. It's never like,
Right.
it's never
We screwed
always
that up
going to
in the
be.
Garden of Eden.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I get a little bit frustrated with people who might not believe in God and think that some of us are just like happy-go-lucky. But like you said, it's a mindset, and if you can keep a positive mindset, the positivity can be contagious.
Right. And and the thing is, that's actually a good line. The only thing more contagious than coronavirus is positivity.
Yeah.
And when you think like that and you have those positive thoughts, it does impact the world around you. Your thoughts become things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been taught by philosophers for thousands of years,
Yeah.
but really, you know, taught by Jesus first. And it's the truth. Your thoughts become things, and your life depends on it, your eternal life. So guard your minds, protect yourself, and don't let all of this coronavirus scare swallow you up.
Yeah.
Stay focused on the things that are important. Look around. What can you do that leaves a positive imprint, whether it's cleaning their house, whether it's you know, doing that project out in the garage that you've been sitting on for a
Reading a
long time,
book.
or whether it's going out and harvesting a turkey so you can make
Yeah.
the best deep fried turkey wings that have ever existed. And a recipe for that is on thegreenwayoutdoors.com.
Yeah.
And that is the best turkey wings I've ever had in my life.
Those were insane.
Yeah,
Those
check it.
were
They're
incredible.
boneless, amazing. Go to thegreenwayoutdoors.com, click on recipes. You'll see Jeff's recipes. Just go ahead and ignore those, and then go to the TV show episode ones. Look at the turkey episode. They are absolutely outstanding. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the coronavirus COVID-19 special. Social distanced. We followed the rules.
Yep.
So the mean comments can stop. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. We kept our distance, and we're being extremely safe out here in the woods and keeping the fresh air moving between us. But we're both feeling happy and healthy, and we
Yeah.
hope that everyone at home is as well. We care about you. I'm hoping you're outside in the woods. I hope you're enjoying the outdoors, because right now it's almost turkey season, and it's an opportunity to do that. As always, we appreciate you for tuning into the Green Way Outdoors podcast. Also, check out our TV show on Sportsman Channel. It is going to be on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our podcast. Some of you don't know, we actually have a full-blown TV show too.
Yeah.
And it's something that we're extremely passionate about. Every episode is about a specific tactic for a specific species, being hunting or fishing. We cover the conservation. The Greenway Gear Checklist is everything you need for the hunting or fishing trip. On top of that, we show you the hunting or fishing trip in a reality show style format that we promise will make you laugh.
Yeah.
We include a moral lesson with a Bible verse, and we have a cooking studio in Auburn Hills, Michigan, which we're locked out of right now, but soon we'll be able to get back into.
Yeah.
And we show you how to cook whatever we got for that specific tactic for that specific species every episode. So that's the outline for it. It's a really high production that we put our heart and soul into, and we hope that through these trying times, you'll be able to enjoy and watch. Thank you so much for tuning in again to the Green Outdoors podcast. Stay green.